Hello, everyone. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. This is your update for Friday the 3rd. All right, let's go. Well, no setups going into tomorrow. There's not a whole lot to look at tonight setup-wise, but my momentum lists are fairly big, so we should see plenty of setups soon. Anyway, we've got enough going on for now. Cypher triggering, beginning to take off a bit, but then came back in, so that's a bit of a bummer, but it happens. It takes a while sometimes for these things to get going, as you likely know if you've been trading for more than a day. Go ahead and bump your stop on Kato's. We'll take a look at that portfolio in just 1 second. Again, nothing to really go after tonight. There's a few in here that are okay, but let's just see how they shake out. Like this one, I'd like to see a little bit more knockout move with it. This one's okay. I prefer when they clear the prior peaks a little bit more decisively than that, but I just want to kind of show you what I'm seeing out there for now. Let's take a look at the portfolio, and then we'll hop out to the overall market. First of all, ABCL, kind of off to the races. I think I saw 8 and change. In fact, I know I saw 8 and change, which is absolutely crazy in after-hours trading, which makes you wonder whether or not you should put in some kind of crazy order for just a few hundred shares just to see if it gets hit in after hours. But it looks like there was plenty of volume at those high levels too, so I found that kind of interesting. But it did manage to close at multi-year highs, so that's obviously a good thing. So far, so good on that one. ATAI continues to consolidate in here, down a little bit off of its worst level. Still looks pretty good longer term. Cypher trigger, but then came back in a little by the end of the day. Crypto is going to be a bumpy ride. That's one of the few things I can guarantee, although this one has been trading very cleanly for some time. KGC outside day down, but well off its worst level, so not the end of the world there. Nice little uptrend so far remaining intact. Kato's banging on new highs with a little bit of vigor. We're going to bring that stop up a couple of points on that one. Take a look at TFPM. Another one of those outside days down. That's gold. Kind of had an interesting day like the KGC. Gold had an interesting day. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. But anyway, well off its worst level, so certainly not the end of the world there. Looking pretty good longer term, too. Let's take a look at the overall market and drill down a little. First of all, and as usual, let's go with the P's. S&P 500, kind of a funky day, but it managed to close at all-time highs, ending up a smidge. So I wouldn't get too excited because it closed at all-time highs based on the way it did it, but it did manage to come off its worst level. So we'll score that as a victory, as a trend follower. You're not going to argue, or you shouldn't argue, with brand new highs. Speaking of brand new highs, NASDAQ, brand new highs there, so that's much better than a poke in the eye. Let's take a look at the Rusty. Rusty had an okay day. It looks like it's trying to rally out of this pullback. So maybe these small caps are finally going to have their day in the sun. There's gold, big ugly outside day like the rest of the stocks. But hey, off its worst levels, and you know this commodity could actually use a little bit of a breather. Gold stocks looking a little bit better, tailing way off their worst levels. So that looks okay. I wouldn't get too excited about that just yet. Defense ended a smidge higher. That's enough to keep it right at all-time highs. So far, this nice little persistent breakout remains intact there. Semiconductors, bam, look at that, all-time highs with a little bit of vigor. Not bad at all. Nice breakout remains intact there. That's what you like to see. You like to see a breakout, have it have some minor corrections along the way, or nothing really major, then really take off, and then it could have more deeper corrections. Robotics and AI right here at multi-year high, so that's certainly a good thing. When you look at the individual metals like lithium, some of them actually banged out new highs. Silver stalled out a little bit, but it's like gold. You can see a little bit of an outside day down. Not a lot to get excited about there. Metals and mining overall banging out new highs with a little bit of vigor. So areas like lithium obviously helping it out. Uranium had a decent day too, not too far from these brand new highs. So overall, things still look pretty good, obviously. So continue to play alongside, trail your stops, take some profits along the way, and of course, and as usual, honor your stops just in case. Everybody have a fantastic night. If you have any questions, you know the routine. Thank you so much.